this is my journey, particularly with, quote, no choice, end quote. And my journey offline is way different from online. And then online obviously has different expressions before the replication shit. And what I mean by that is you could express yourself online in something of a way that's, you know, more so written, or it's more so in like it's either in a written format or it's in a video format. So there's different formats of expressing yourself online, obviously. But within the track record of the internet, even before the 1900s, there's a whole different channel, obviously not that obvious, that's not readily available for the surface level masses. And since it's not available for the surface level masses, a lot of things aren't verified for the masses. So since it's not verified, it's just a lower octave of the spectrum of energetic ignorance, a particular type of darkness, a particular context of darkness that's already been like kind of discussed and defined. And within that, it's a certain context of replication. And I'm just saying it for the truth of it, you know? So that's a reminder for myself, because like, if you come onto my videos and my channel and you're feeling some type of way because there hasn't been a sufficient amount of just like, you know, shadow work respectively. And I don't like to like, you know, say the same thing, because that's not my style, you know. But obviously content can be created in so many different ways, and this is me to me, you know, like the content can be created is just like me seeing what I've written, and after seeing what I've written, I could just kind of like, you know, make more, you know, content on that. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to recognize there's different channels of how the internet is quote unquote regulated, end quote. Because the stuff that the real breakthroughs that have happened, they're not gonna like, it's not necessarily gonna be verified for the surface level communions, right? Because I could ask, someone could just generally say any claim, right? You could say any fucking claim, right? Just generally, and hopefully my shadow work has its own homeostasis where I could lean towards the fucking truth and the logic of it, and the emotions will come and go how they will, obviously within all humans. But when I see such a statement or a claim that, you know, for example, and for me to say it like this, it takes real logical maturity for me to say it, because like for me to just kind of like, everyone is oscillating between their feelings and their logical mind, more or less, right? On a surface level, just generally. And within that, as they're fucking oscillating between their emotional shit and their logical shit, people in their unconscious shit, they don't even fucking know that they could be flunked out in such a way where they have flunked out logic to the point where they have flunked out emotional shit to the point where they don't even know that they have flunked out logical shit to the point, because they're just that flunked out, you know? They're just like, so the unconsciousness has got the best of them within their individual human incarnation of whatever they are, you know, because we all come from the predecessors and we all come from the GHs, obviously, and we're denominations of denominations, because all is self, all is source, all is God, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know, you don't have to give it a name. This is real fucking modern emotional logical maturity. You don't have to give it a fucking name, you know. But anyways, the point is, like, I could see such a claim where someone could say science did that, right? For example, science did that. Okay, well, what is making science do science, right? And then after, you maybe within the multiverse dynamics, we could recognize that there is something aside from science that's causing science to do something within its own investigative research of doing that. And then we could ask other questions that support the evidence of the proof of how there's a different channel aside from science doing its own thing. That's a precursor to science, right? So here's the question I'm gonna ask, which is a ballpark of a question. So this video is complete on its own. Like, I only deliver complete shit. That's my fucking style. So here's the question. Could the most solidified, how does the most solidified concrete object in the universe act and move in accordance to the highest velocities of cosmic winds? So that's a parallel example to quote unquote science did that, end quote. Why is it a parallel example to science did that? Because respectively, we can look at science as a spectrum with different octaves that have an affiliation with surface level material shit and then real metaphysical shit. And as we're doing that, the question I asked is an example to see that there's something that could be causing science to be what science is, right? And the reason I'm saying all of this shit, like someone could read my shit and just be like, what the fuck is he talking about? No shit. It's up to your individual intelligence to ask the right questions, obviously. And, you know, shout out to the original, quote unquote, original open source, end quote, because obviously we're all sharing wisdom at the end of the fucking day, you know? But like, for it to see how it's caused from a whole different metaphysical narrative, that's literally beyond this shit, you know? So the thing is, us as an individual human, we don't necessarily know we're growing out of our unconsciousness. We're growing up, the Leo energy shit. We're growing up. We're growing up into this shit. And within that growing up of that Cancer Leo, you know, we could grow up to such a point where we could establish our own individuation energetically. It doesn't have to be all woo-woo logical, like, you know, fake ass commercialized spiritual shit. It doesn't have to be that fucking shit, respectively. So the thing is, it's seeing whatever you're claiming, how is that ultimately true in this modern intelligence, aside from you just saying that to just want to trigger someone, you know? Someone wants to just say some shit to trigger someone. That's okay, you know? It's just going to reflect back on like, okay, you're going to help me do my shadow work. Hopefully I'm not flunked out in my logical work and my emotional intelligence, pretty much, you know? So like, if someone wants to say science did that, what's causing science to be science, you know? And at the end of the day, you know, how we feel, it doesn't necessarily matter. What matters at the end of the day is how you're picking yourself back up from how the world and yourself and your own shadow is kind of disrupting you out of your emotional intelligence and logical intelligence. That's the growing fucking pains right there. So that's the whole thing with this shit. Some people just want to say shit because they want to say shit, and some people just want to say shit because, and some people want to say shit and they necessarily can't fucking prove it, you know? They're just saying shit without proving it, without cutting edge logic. So within all of this shit, I'm saying the shit that I'm saying online, what I'm typing as I'm being my own keyboard, you know, warrior or whatever. And hopefully I could be neutral with this shit. I'm saying this shit because there are breakthroughs that has happened on a different channel of the internet that's not necessarily verified on the surface level internet that have already been done, you know? And it's not me wanting credit, it's me like relating and resonating and reciprocating with the truth that nourishes the soul. Like working with that real fucking original spiritual feel-good energy, which is the precursor, ironically, to your fucking feel-good energy. So that's on some real ironic shit. So the thing is, it's like, the question was, science did that. You know, someone can make that claim. But then a whole different, deeper metaphysical question that transcends science in itself could be asked in such a way. The particular question is that I had originally came up with: how does the most solidified concrete object in the universe, and obviously science is blended with this, but it's also beyond science because something's causing it to be. How does the most solidified concrete object in the universe react and interact with the highest velocity of cosmic winds? So within that, you could see that, of course, science has some affiliation within that, you know? And as science has some type of affiliation with that, we can also investigate to see if there's conscious beings that are organizing that are causing the science to be what it is. So it's an investigation. So it's up to our individual self to see how we could be grateful for the shit that we can fix our emotional intelligence and logical intelligence, and we could get with the modern times. So to bring it back a little bit, like, the reason I'm making all these claims in the recent time is because presentations have already been made, and however it's verified behind the scenes, that has different channels. One channel being of metaphysical truth, one channel of being surface level falsehood. That's just what it is on the surface level material realm. So that's why I'm making these claims. And if you're new to this shit, it's up to me to be clear, you know? So since it's up to me to be clear, it's seeing how there's an astrological clock, and the sun is in Libra and Jupiter is in Gemini. So the sun and Jupiter, they're making a link. They're linking some type of air dynamic within the solar system, and that link of Jupiter and the sun, they're triangulating and trifecting that energy of the air to the earth, externally to the earth, to the material solar system external forefront. So within that Jupiter link to the sun, we're completing air dynamics of being expansive with this modern info warfare shit, which has been happening before 2012, and your millennial ass, most respectively, is catching up to some shit that's already been happening. It's just all innovated out pretty much at this point, because this shit has been happening before 2012, most respectively. The info war shit, the competition shit, duh. So the reason I'm saying all this shit, and yeah, I'm living out my own life of no choice. That doesn't excuse me to feel what my karma is, you know? That doesn't excuse me from, like, you know, going into the predicament I will go in. If there's pain for me in the future, okay. Thank you, Godheads. If there's pleasure for me in the future, or a mixture of both, okay, Godheads. What work am I doing to balance that shit on the realest shit ever? So the thing is, the truth of the internet, it's not gonna verify it for the surface level falsehood internet. It will secretively, but it's not gonna do it entirely. That's the thing. So as the sun is linking Jupiter, and a certain part of the material solar system is in an age of Aquarius, there's still a grand trine going on within Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and within that grand trine, the air is being activated by Jupiter, the sun, embodying the total consciousness of who you are, you know? And, oh, there's bees here. And the shadow work, obviously, it's always gonna be there, you know? But the thing is, one little mini definition of shadow work is balancing the logical intelligence of modern truth and the emotional intelligence with modern truth. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what deeper truth is, right? So since we don't know what deeper truth is, we're leaning towards looking at the astrological clock differently, and we're seeing how this sun in Libra, this character in Libra, we're relating to we're embodying the characterization of relating with one another to how things move and shift to a new age, Libra. So it's like you know, sun in Libra, it's like we're relating to new things, and we're working to survive, you know, because all the Libra gates are spleen. So if you're a Libra, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. It's like you're working or you're moving to work to be with some type of survival, and within that survival play, obviously there's like energetic metaphysical repercussion where we would like to enjoy some shit after the survival shit that we've been through. So that's a general HD perspective of the Libra, right? So, and yeah, this is vulnerable. Yeah, this is quote unquote risky. But the thing is, I'm quote unquote, I'm secure with saying this because certain benchmarks of proclamations have already been made and they've been uncontested to the surface level forefront. But they haven't necessarily been uncontested on the background, you know, on a different dream world. Because obviously the dream world, you don't know what someone else has dreamt, respectively. And that is its own, like, that's its own whirlwind and cycle and orbit of its own different existence, right? That has different fabrications thereof, more or less, and different real expressions thereof, more or less. Because I'm just logically confident with the claim, the presentations and the claims I've already made. And on the surface level, it's okay, no choice. I'm living out my own no choice. And I'm okay with I'm just okay with like seeing like how things are working themselves out in such a different way where the human can't understand, and it's up to for the human to accept that with supporting emotional intelligence and logical intelligence. And there was another point I wanted to make. So yeah, so one of the grounding points I wanted to make was certain presentations, they've already been a thing, and on the surface level they've been uncontested. And since they're uncontested on the surface level, it's because that's the mechanics of the surface level. The human has to wait, you know, we all have to wait sometimes to like get the answer that we want, because we don't necessarily understand the mechanics of life. So the whole jazz with this new age shit, it's getting particular understanding and knowledge, and seeing how this research competition game, it's already been a thing, and now it's just innovation on steroids, and the same emotional what do you call that, the same emotional provocations being provoked to feel and do something. It's the same thing, it's just more enhanced and more highlighted. But this shit has always been going on, respectively. So what is really the solution? Worry about yourself and really go for the real truth, you know? Because I like this competition shit, it's like eventually it's gonna get plateaued, respectively, you know? That's just the truth of it, you know? That's just the fucking truth. Everyone replicating everyone's shit in fragmented, unconscious ways. That's that shit, you know? But wouldn't you think that's already being like preserved on a whole different level, perhaps? And within that being preserved on a different level, there's different iterations and filtrations of the different different arrangements of portionalities of how there's a ratio of truth and falsehood, and that ratio of truth and falsehood expresses itself differently throughout the dimensions. You have the best life ever, and obviously I'll be back. Thank you.